Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Happy Monday or whatever day it is you're listening. But we are live from New York, here in New York, I guess. This is Spirit Matters, your daily Bhakti Center check-in. It's the beginning of the week. I'm so glad you're here with us. I am tuned in live with dear good friend and inspirational figure in my life, Jamuna Jaya, along with our live studio audience on Zoom and you wherever you're tuning in from. And one of the things that we want Spirit Matters to be, in addition to just a daily little spiritual check-in for you to have some connection, is opportunity to share some of the amazing people in our community with you. A big mission of ours, a purpose, is to help you feel less alone on your journey. And one of the ways we do that is by introducing so many amazing community members to you. And so this week we have Jamuna Jai, who's going to be with us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of this week. And I'm so glad that you're here. You're someone I love spending time with and I love being around. Wonderful teacher, bright light, self-proclaimed bodega cat of the Bhakti Center, who loves to just hang around and is always there in every nook and cranny doing so many services. And we love you for it. So how are you, Jamuna? Thanks for being here.
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Hello to people I see that I know, and hello to other people. I'm always amazed at the association I get at the Bhakti Center and how many different ways people ask me to pitch in. So just happy to be here.
You're good at so many things. Maybe for those who don't know you, maybe you can just share a little bit about yourself, Jamuna Jaya. Tell us a little bit about let's start at the beginning. Tell us about your spiritual awakening. How did you come to be a yoga teacher and come to spiritual life? And just a little bit about the start of your spiritual journey and how you got here.
I always enjoy hearing those from other people, so I hope that you'll like those. Mine began, oddly enough, I mean, I said Krishna. Raghunath Kapil says, Krishna's got a plan. Krishna's got a plan. Sweet baby's Krishna's got a plan. And I always I laugh and I look at my life because I think he had a plan. I feel when I look back, I see his little finger going, go this way, go this way, go this way. So I was always sort of like, my god sister Bhakti Devi says that she was born with the God gene, the seeking God gene. And I feel like that was mine. I have my father's left the planet, two really wonderful, pious, very Catholic parents. So the conception of God and service was always something part of our life. Because they were involved in every cake sale, it was Catholic, every bingo game, every thing, everything that could possibly happen. And so even as a kid, I remember my earliest spiritual seeking, was given a children's Bible for my first communion. I remember going to my youngest brothers. I have a big family. I have one of six, which is incomprehensible in New York City. How my parents did that. I did some sort of mystic city. I don't even know how they do that.
Six Jamuna Jayas.
Six.
That is one family dinner.
It is. Like, yeah, indeed. We all talk this fast. Hi, everybody. My husband practically needed a translator the first time he came over. All these little people, because I am the biggest of my three sisters, and anybody that knows me, I'm not a large person. So we're these little energetic people. My husband is this rather tall, dignified, almost Irish guy. So you can just imagine the contrast. We're a funny pair to look at. So I went to my youngest brothers. I'm the youngest, but is the brother just above me. I remember I took the little children's Bible. And I said, I was about 8 or 9. And I said, Robbie, there's something wrong with me. And I think the answer is in this book.
What was the book?
Robbie, it was the Bible. It was a children's Bible. And Robbie said, well, there's nothing wrong with you. What are you talking about? But, I tried to read it, and I got it. And I would sit very attentively in Catholic church because I like the pageantry, I'm theatrical. So, but after a while, it stopped making sense to me. And so after high school, when I'm a dancer and I didn't go to college, I took off dancing and road shows all over the place and just all on my own. I never liked meat. But eating meat became this is stupid. So I stopped doing that when I was 18. It was like, why are people doing this? It's an animal.
That's how I did. I was like, this is stupid.
It's stupid. It's like, we're doing that.
Any
And
questions?
exactly. Like, duh. The same thing with
Why'd you stop eating meat? Because it's stupid.
I yeah, because it's stupid. It was just I never liked it in the first place. I thought it was odd. Like in eggs, never understood that. My mother would used make me like sit at the table and so I would eat it and I would eat just the tiniest, like dried up piece at the end because I'm like, that's gross. I can't even. So that, like, when I came to bhakti, I'm like, well, of course, who does that?
People ask that question about eggs sometimes. They're like, how come you don't eat eggs? Like, if it's not necessarily meat. I'm like, do you need a reason to not eat eggs?
It's like, and occasionally when you're someplace in the sunny side up egg situation. My father-in-law, God rest his soul, would eat those soft-boiled eggs in a cup. And they'd be all the yellow, is all gooey. And I'm
Good
like,
morning, everybody. For those of you who are joining us on your morning breakfast hour, enjoying your bacon, ham, and eggs.
I'm sorry.
You're like, wait a minute. I thought this was an inclusive podcast. They just called me stupid. What is going on here?
Sorry, everybody. This is just me.
We're just talking about my personal experience.
My personal
watching
experience.
My father-in-law drink egg yolk.
You just couldn't. I just couldn't. But anyway, let's get off of that.
Anyways, all this began of like my beautiful spiritual. There's something wrong with me. I think it's in this book. And by the way, meat is stupid.
It's stupid.
How do we get there? It's supposed to be respectful. Hare Krishna.
That's right. Hare Krishna. So anyway, so
you're going on road shows, dancing in road shows.
Dancing in road shows. And so I was just like trying to read books about, about spirituality and things like that. And I was reading a lot of like self-help books and stuff like that, still going to Catholic mass someplace, but nothing was really, really hitting that much. And so a couple of things happened like all at the same time. Let's see, what does it say? Unfertilized egg. Wait, I got to read the egg comment.
Somebody's saying how they need to eat egg for health reasons.
Yeah. Sorry, Baladevi. Sorry. Yuki. She's like, I'm closing off. Don't bring her back.
This is my first and last time on this show.
Oh, here comes Leslie Venti, and she's very early in the morning for her. So anyway, a couple of things happened all at the same time. I came off the road dancing because I was looking for a couple of different things. I'd fallen in love with my husband and I didn't want to travel so much anymore. And I was looking for something that wasn't quite so, even though I'm a performer at heart, wasn't quite so forward facing in a way. I don't have a lot of skills really. As a performer, that's what I can do. So I got this job. I think again, Krishna showed me the way because he tripped me one year, literally, and I broke my arm. Right when I would have been auditioning for summer stock shows, dancing in shows. And so I was looking for a gig and I'd always done a lot of stuff with children. And I ended up getting this gig performing in hospitals for children. I had no experience as a clown. I had no experience at that point, but they kind of liked my energy. And so I started performing in hospitals for children and we get evaluated every year. Our artistic staff comes to watch us. And they said to me, you're very energetic. The kids love you, but you have to learn to find some stillness. And right around the corner from where I am right now, I was leaving my gym and this yoga studio, Laughing Lotus, had just hung up their flyer. And I was like, oh, this yoga stuff's supposed to be about being still. Let me try that. So it was a 2:30 in the afternoon yoga class. And the first thing the woman did was she had us close her eyes and she chanted a mantra. And I remember that feeling, my eyes are closed, my eyes opened up and I'm like, I have no idea what that woman just said, but that's something. And so I started
when was this? Put us in a time frame. When was this?
This was about 15, 16 years ago. Yeah. Yes.
So what is that? 1987? That's 15 years ago?
Wait, don't do the math. What is it? It's 19. It's in the 1990s. Somebody do the
No,
math.
15
Leslie, do the
years ago
math.
was still 2000s.
2000.
15
No,
years ago was like 2008.
yeah, that's right. That'd be right. Yeah, somewhere around there. It was past 2001. I remember that. I'm bad with numbers. But so I started taking yoga class because I like the feeling about, I'm a physical person, so I liked the movement and I liked what was being said. And so I took a yoga teacher training, not to because I wanted to be a yoga teacher, because I had this really great job. I perform in hospitals for children. I really love my job. But I did it more to learn more about the stuff they said at the beginning of class, like the stuff about the philosophy. And so I graduated from that teacher training. And this is where things all sort of came at the same time. And I graduated. And one day, my husband and I were walking through Washington Square Park. And it happened to be at the end of this big Indian festival. And there were people jumping up and down and singing and dancing. And my husband looked at me and he goes, yes, Leslie jumping. Looked at me and said, those look like your kind of people. And somebody walked over and handed me a book and a bunch of beads. And I'm like, these people are fun. Dance with them for a little while because I will dance at anything. And then I went home and kind of forgot about there's a bunch of people dancing.
We got people
dancing,
in our Zoom where people are dancing.
They look like my kind of people.
These are your kind of people.
Those are my kind of people. So I
love that your husband's
the
one who pointed that out. He was like, these are your kind of people. Normally it's like, what are you getting into, honey? And getting worried. Instead, he's like, yeah, these are your people.
Yeah. This is the advantage of knowing your husband for such a long time. Like Jimmy, I always say almost when I came to my spiritual path, Jimmy was kind of relieved because I like glom onto him in all things all the time. And he's like, oh, thank God she has someone else to talk to. It was like, she's alive.
I think that's such a beautiful part of relationships, and we don't have to get into it now because I want to hear more of your story, but I think that sometimes there's so much pressure that we put on our relationships that our partner has to do everything with us, or even sometimes we'll enter into a new relationship and it's like, we have to exercise together. We have to, like the same, entertainment together. We have to do the same spiritual practices together. And while there sometimes can be benefit of that, and sometimes that can be sweet. And for some of us that, we may need a partner that does that, but a lot of times we put a lot of undue pressure on a relationship that we have to do everything together. And this person has to be the person I go to for everything. When in reality, sometimes it's healthy or can be at least be totally fine if our partner has other outlets by which other aspects of their personality can be expressed and received and go to. And so I think it's really beautiful that Jimmy saw that and isn't threatened by that and is able to appreciate that and recognize,
no.
I'm not going to jump up and dance with you.
Exactly. He's not going to do it ever.
But if you can find some people to jump up and dance with you, God bless them.
God bless him. Yeah, he's, I think because when we met, I was dancing full time, so I was traveling a lot. So we, our relationship right at the beginning was very separate, and that's before way before cell phones and stuff like that. So he got used to being very independent.
Yeah. Well, I think it takes a lot. I think it takes a lot of self-confidence, reassurance, and security that I don't have to be everything to somebody else. And to recognize like this is who I am. This is what I can offer in this situation, this circumstance, this relationship. This is what I'm not. And if you have needs outside of that, like in terms of whether it's certain social needs or spiritual needs, we are complex individuals that require a variety of social relationships in order to express ourselves and feel whole. And so appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I always say every day of my life, I give thanks I always say Jimmy was probably Krishna's biggest gift to me, that he knows me so well. And when we talk about loving someone is putting their needs, making their joy your joy, my husband does that. Just yesterday, when I left my house to come teach here, I'm at Yoga Maya Yoga Studio, and then I was over at the Bhakti Center. It was pouring, so I wore my rain boots, but then the sun came out. So I had these big Muckaluk rain boots, and Jimmy was going to meet me because we were going to go someplace after. And I called him, I was like, I feel so stupid. My rain boots are so heavy now that the sun's out. And he goes, are your sneakers at home? And I said, yeah, my sneakers are at home, but I'd have to carry them in my knapsack, and that we already had stuff in my knapsack. So he shows up yesterday at the Bhakti Center, sitting patiently waiting for me because as always, I'm running late. And he sits on the front steps and a whole bunch of people walk by and go, oh, you're Jimmy, which he hates. He's like, I wish he would stop talking about me, but he tolerates it. And then he goes, well, here are your sneakers. And he said, but my knapsack's full. He goes, well, I brought my knapsack to carry your boots so you could wear sneakers.
What a guy.
I mean,
He was at the Bhakti Center yesterday. What time? I missed him. I was there most of the whole day.
He was there when we were upstairs in that program. He came to pick me up after that. So he was
you had to
downstairs.
leave during the program. Remember, you had to leave a little early. Okay.
Yeah. He doesn't come upstairs often because it's not his cup of tea. It's not his cup of tea, but he sometimes sponsors feasts for my birthday and for anniversary or for the anniversary of my initiations and stuff like that. So he is, I say he's das anadas. He is the servant because my life couldn't happen without my husband's. That
sweet guy.
I know that for sure. And
so he's the one that said, these are your kind of people.
Yep.
And you're
these
like,
are my kind of people.
Here I go.
Yep. There. And so, but it took hearing these words from my yoga mentor, Patrick Franco, who's an awesome teacher out in New Jersey where I took, because I was like, Patrick, I want to know more about the philosophy. In my first 200-hour teacher training, I didn't get much of it. I want to know more. And he said these faithful words that I know a lot of people in this call have heard. There he goes, you need to take Raghunath Kapil's class. And so I sat down, and as your wife says, Dial, Raghu yelled the bhakti into me. I walked into this class, I don't even know how we describe Raghu, this being
animated.
Yes, harmonium. It was saying things that I don't understand, singing and words I don't understand, but all I knew was like, whatever that guy is on, I want it. And after that, it took, I'm here at the yoga studio named Yoga Maya. We were literally across the street before the pandemic. We had to move. They had an advanced teacher training where one module was called devotion. And it was all about bhakti. And I signed up for that training because of that. And on the first day of that training, in walked a very interesting, kindly man in orange bed sheets, as I perceived him. And his name was Danyadar Swami. A really nice young man whose name was Jagiri Hari walked in, and they did this drama. And Danyadar Swami, he held up his hand and he goes, we're like the hand. A hand is useful to the body if it's serving the body, but if you cut it off, it's gross. And he goes, bhakti is like the hand. And I remember just like, oh, bhakti is like that. And that training was life-changing. Like Maharaj was there. The next day they took us to the Brooklyn Temple. Achyuta and Ananta did kirtan and talked to us. Gauravani came and did kirtan. Kastuba talked to us about the Bhagavad Gita. Jayutal talked to us about the Ramayana. And it was a 100-hour training. And by the end of that, I was like, found it.
Can you, just because we have such short time on this podcast and we're already at time for today, just about, and I wanted to, because I always have a hard stop on it. I have to run. But I'd like to walk away with normally we have a wrap it up Acharya Kimberly here, but we're gonna, just for the sake of time, we're gonna forego the takeaways there, and I want to focus on just one takeaway that you can share with us, Jamuna, about, because you said about 15 years ago. So it's about, you were somewhere and you're in a woman in New York City going through life, already married, in your 40s or something, I assume, looking for stillness and finding a path. And you said you look back and sometimes you find Krishna, it was Steve Jobs who said that you can always connect the dots looking back, but it's always hard to connect them looking forward.
Yeah.
So what's just one quick word you would give to people who are on a journey or starting a journey, not quite sure where God may be in their life? Is Krishna showing up in my life? Are things making sense? Where is this all going? Everyone else seems as if they're connecting the dots in their spiritual path, but I'm lost. And just what's a word of encouragement or support or reassurance you would give to people struggling to find the ways in which Krishna is guiding them in their life?
Yeah, this is something that I do every day, and I made 2023 the year of what I call what went right. So several times a day, I stop and I think what went right, and it's tiny little things. And when I look at that, I realize, holy crap, like this, so many things went right for this to happen. And so there is a person like helping me that. I find that like, whoa, it makes me want to say thank you. And I can see that so many things are going right all the time to lead me in the right direction. So I found that, especially in days that that have gone wrong, in this past year for my family has been horrific. Taking that time all the time to say what went right, then I see the hand of God, because there's
What,
literally no other explanation for it. When I
taking
think like,
time
yeah,
to think about what went right. Hmm. That's a
yeah.
beautiful meditation. Thank you. I want to hear more about that. We've got Jumina Jai 2 more times this week. She's not going to be able to join us tomorrow, but she will join us Wednesday, the day after tomorrow, and then the day after that on Friday. So she'll be here every other day this week. We'll hear more of your story and hear more about just kind of how spirituality shows up in your life today. We'll dive a little bit into the Bhagavad Gita and get some more spiritual realizations from you. That's all the time we got for today. Got to cut it short. Got to move on to the next thing, as life always does. But we love you guys a lot. We're grateful for all of you. Thank you all so much for being here. And please, please be well. Take care. And thank you so much just for being you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Sorry, Baladevi. Thanks. Bye.